This is Pod Populi, podcasts for the people.
This podcast is for informational purposes only and is not intended to replace professional medical advice or be a substitute for therapy. Please contact a mental health professional as needed. If you are in need of urgent or emergency health care, please contact your medical and or mental health provider, call 911, or go to your nearest emergency room. The information presented in this podcast does not reflect the opinions of those with whom Dr. Ellick might be affiliated as an employee, consultant, or colleague, past or present. Hello, and welcome to another episode of From Mayhem to Mindset with Dr. Laura. I am your host, Dr. Laura Ellick. So glad that you could join us today. We have an amazing guest for you to listen to the words of wisdom. This is Wendy and I had a conversation, and I was just so impressed with her that I really wanted to get her on my show. So I will let Wendy do the honors in a minute, but this is Wendy Vineyard. Since 2020, Wendy has specialized in empowering moms who feel hurt and rejected by their adult child. She helps them stand in their power, be more of who they really are, love their life, and build a fulfilling relationship with their adult child. She has compassion for the devastation moms feel in this situation because she was estranged from her own adult son for several years. Wendy is a certified master coach, relationship and stress expert, holistic health practitioner, content creator, and best-selling author of the self-care book, Powerful Habits to Grow Younger Every Day. Look and feel 10 years younger naturally. Wendy is a former journalist and public relations consultant. So Wendy, that is a mouthful. So tell us, first of all, welcome, but tell everyone here kind of how you got into that work. I mean, as a mom, being estranged from your child has got to be one of the most devastating things you can go through.
Absolutely, Laura. It really was. And I didn't know how to fix it. I didn't know what was really wrong. And I tried on my own for quite a while. And then I realized I needed help because we're not meant to know everything. And asking for help is a sign of strength. So those are a couple of learnings that I got out of the situation. And I worked with a coach who helped me to let go of some of the painful parts of my own past and to be able to learn some new skills, such as boundaries. Boundaries are always important. And I developed, I know this is about mindset, your podcast. And I thought, oh, this is the perfect one for me because I had to develop many different mindsets. And since I've been coaching moms, I've developed even more. And I think that it's important when you want something and maybe the other person doesn't want it as much, guess who has to change? It's you. And
that's a great point. That is a great point.
Yeah, because, he's just fine living his life, doing his own thing. And then, but I missed him more than he missed me. And we were able to, over the course of probably a couple of years, reestablish a respectful, loving relationship that we had when he was younger. And along my journey, I realized how big a problem this is. Moms feeling hurt and rejected, and furthermore, somewhere on the spectrum of estranged from their adult child, and how painful that is. Some moms who have several children can be estranged from only one of them, or several, or all of them. It's a very personal experience with common threads.
Now, were you a coach before this estrangement happened, and so you just kind of morphed your practice into this?
Exactly. That's exactly what I did, because I could see the need and I could feel that this was something I could stand behind for years, because it was so painful when I went through it. I want moms, as many moms as possible, to be able to have what I have or go beyond it, because we all have our own relationships with our kids.
Sure. Sure. I mean, one of the things in the work that I've done, especially working with a lot of couples who are going through divorce, there's often that estrangement and that alienation that can occur. One parent pits, the kids against the other parent, or whatever tends to happen. Is that one of the most common reasons that there's an estrangement in your experience, or if not, tell us some more.
It is certainly one of the most common and one of the most difficult for the mom because she's feeling frustrated with her ex. She doesn't want to speak against him, hopefully, because that's not the way to win at anything. That's engaging in conflict. And I currently have a mom who's in that situation, and she's even remarried, and the girl, her daughter, doesn't like the guy. But more to the point, I think what my client is figuring out is that her daughter needs more one-on-one time with her, not time with her and her new partner, her new husband. And so she's working on that, working at going at a pace her daughter is setting, and being patient, knowing that this girl is just doing what all of us and what all young people are doing, which is figuring out how the world works, and figuring out how their past fits with their present, and maybe they need to get help with dealing with their past as well.
So do
But
you
like I
find
said, for my relationship with my son, it was about me taking action on me.
So, do you find in the situations that you work with, a lot of the estrangement has been caused by something that the parent has done? Or, for example, I hear a lot of situations where parents and children are estranged because the children are engaging in drugs or alcohol or engaging in toxic behavior, and the parents
Mhm.
set this boundary that unless you get treatment, like, we can't have contact with you. So, what do you see in your practice?
Well, I don't really deal with addictions, but I can tell you that my experience is, and I think this is fairly common across the board, that you can't have a healthy relationship with someone who is actively in addiction. So it really does require the mom to be able to stand back and let their child figure things out on their own. No amount of nagging or pleading or begging is going to change anybody. If someone that you love is in an addictive state, like meaning using, there's nothing that you can do or say that's going to stop that behavior. It's something that runs deeper than that. So in the same way that we have to accept reality, whatever that reality is, we need to take a step back from wanting a relationship with someone who is in an active stage of addiction. And that's the advice that I give to people who are experiencing that. But I'm not an expert in addiction. And so I keep in my path. I keep in the path that I know I can help moms with. And really, ultimately, it's about working on you so that you love your life, simply because we're at a similar age, all of us, with kids who are adults. We're in our 50s, we're in our 60s, we're in our 70s, whatever it is. And we are coming to the realization that we need to make our life count for ourselves. We're here to learn and grow, I believe, and experience the beauty on this planet, and to have the experiences that we want to have in a joyful way. We cannot do that when we're focused on thinking that we can't enjoy our life if we don't have our adult child or our grandchildren in our lives. And that's just not the case. It is a decision that moms make about, okay, there's nothing I can do right now to convince my child to come back into a relationship with me. I hold the door open, I never shut it. And I work on me. I work on me to become the best version of myself so that I am an attractor to my child, not someone that they feel they have to deal with or fix, or who's going to be sucking their time, or whatever. And it is about realizing that our happiness is an inside job. It is not something that should predicate on a relationship with anyone.
So, what do you see in the clients who see you? What are the main causes of estrangement between moms and their children? And is there a difference in what causes estrangement in moms and sons versus moms and daughters?
Well, that's a loaded question.
Hmm.
And yes, I believe that there are differences between moms and sons and moms and daughters relationship and estrangement. Um, I think that boys especially need to learn how to be in the world without their moms, because unfortunately our society has this problem where we think that if a mom is or a son is close to their mom, it's a mama's boy situation, and the boy has to figure out how to be in the world of men, how to be in his own sense of efficacy over his own life. And if mom's always there telling him what to do or picking him up, as some moms tend to do, over mothering of an adult child, that's not empowering. In fact, it's the opposite. It's disempowering. Moms with daughters, I think that tends to be a lot of uh, uh, more of a friendship kind of thing that may go off the rails from interference with others. It could be the child's partner, it could be the child's father, and there's some conflict there that they're trying to resolve in their own mind. And so again, mom needs to realize this is not hers for the fixing. It's her child's job to take care of their own mental health and their own emotional health. And mom is there, number one, to be emotionally supportive. And, if there's other needs, such as temporary money situation, then mom needs to consult her own feelings about boundaries around giving or lending money and make her decision accordingly, because we do not owe our kids money. We do not owe them anything once they're adults. It's about a love relationship, a connection, and we need to respect our own boundaries as well as the boundaries of our adult child.
So you focus on adults, moms who are estranged from their adult children?
Yes.
So, do you have any different advice for someone who is estranged from someone who is, not legally an adult, 18, but around
Mhm.
that 16, 17 age?
Well, and that's a great question, because basically what you're asking is how do you prevent the estrangement versus, dealing with it once it's become established. And yes, there is a difference, because in a child who's 16, 17, you want to be able to give them opportunities to fail and pick themselves up that are not life altering. Okay. So you're still in there. You're still there to hopefully catch them when they fall, but you're giving them opportunities to try different things so that they can have a pattern that they can go into and use as adults. Okay, so that didn't work out for me when I was 16, or that did work out for me. So I can use the same strategy around figuring this out now that I'm older. So it's building resilience, building strength. I'm sure that you're used to doing that, helping your clients with that in your practice. And I think that it's not just about dealing with the current situation. It's about looking at new patterns, new skills, such as how to apologize, how to forgive. I mean, forgiveness and apology are essential skills to have for any long-term successful relationship, because you're going to say and do stuff that doesn't land well. We're
Right.
human beings. We do that. We don't always get it right, even when we're supposedly mature and older,
Sure.
and acting also as a role model to be able to show your adult child that you can apologize and keep your dignity and not lose ground groveling. I mean, nobody should grovel.
Oh, for
Nobody.
sure. Yeah.
But there are ways to say, I'm sorry. I deeply regret the hurt that I caused you. And if I knew better back then, if I knew back then what I know now, I definitely wouldn't have done it. I hope that we can move forward together, and that you'll allow me an opportunity to make this up to you, to show you that I've changed.
S-
And
Go ahead.
sorry, go ahead.
So I was just thinking, so one of the things that we're really talking about is being able to, the adult to actually take responsibility for any actions that they might have done that contributed to the estrangement. But let's talk about, after a quick break from us, our sponsor, what are some other ways that estrangement can occur? So we'll be right back.
Okay.
Okay, so we're back talking with Wendy Vineyard, who works with moms who have been estranged from their adult children. And one of the things that I think we were talking about kids who are under 18, like the 16, 17-year-old kid who clearly has a mind of their own, right? But they also have they have independence, and in an ideal world, you would have two parents who are together, who are developing the relationship with each parent. And so one of the things that I'm often seeing are parents who are separated and the kids become estranged from one parent or the other because of the behavior of each of the parents. Right. And so do you often see the fallout from that in the adult children that you work with?
Yes, I mean that's one of the common areas of challenges with between parents and children, adult children. As I mentioned, also one of the main things is allowing them to have their space while they're figuring out how the world works. It can often feel to the mom like this is personal. You're pushing me away, but in fact, it's not. It's just a natural human development thing where they're trying to be in the world. Maybe they're at college. Maybe they're starting a first job, and they're busy. It's nothing personal, but mom can sometimes take it as personal, which brings me back to the fact that it's not really anybody's fault when mom has experiences from her early childhood that are causing problems in her relationship today, until she recognizes that this is a factor and can either decide A, to get some help to release the trauma and the hurt from her own neurology, if you will, or go ahead and just blunder your way through and hope that it'll all work out. I come from the school of let's work on this stuff. I believe that we're all here to work on certain challenges in our lives. Some people have money challenges, some people have relationship challenges, and figure out what yours is and get some help to deal with it. There's all kinds of help around to help you to live a happier, healthier life and to improve your relationships. I mean, one of the things that I do tell my clients is when you're about to have a conversation with your adult child, and this is good for parents of teens as well, consider how you can preserve the relationship. And so this means that you need to ask yourself what your goal is for the conversation and what you want out of it, and to be able to listen more than you talk, simply because that is one of the main ways that parents of a child of any age, is to communicate and to show their love just by listening, not trying to fix.
So do you think this whole helicopter mom generation, or what parents have been doing, in the service of their children, has actually backfired?
To a certain extent, I do. I do. I think it's about realizing that you're not going to be around forever, and hopefully you're going to pass away before your child. And so you need to develop a different relationship with your child than you had when the child was younger, where you acknowledge that they are in charge of their life. As helicopter parents, meaning trying to do too much for your child and not allowing them the opportunity to figure things out, or to fail and pick themselves up. I mean, that's the purpose of parenting, is to be there to help protect your child when they're younger, and then give them those experiences I talked about, to be able to go, okay, things are not good right now, but I do think I can figure this out and get through it. Right?
Right.
Sometimes parents jump in too quickly with advice or trying to save their child from the pain that they can see them headed for. And you really need to step back a little bit and wait to be asked. And even then, even when they ask for advice or they ask for a solution, hopefully you'll be able to say something to the effect of, have you thought of this? Have you tried that? And then ultimately to be able to say, you know what, honey, I have absolute faith that you'll be able to handle this. I know you've got this. I'm here for you, but I know you'll figure this out.
So
And what is that? That's a confidence builder.
a parent really needs to learn how to monitor their own anxiety. Their own anxiety about
Yes.
setting the child into the world, about
Yeah.
what if you give this responsibility to the child and the child fails, all of the things that parents can be afraid of, but kids can take this and feel stifled, like they can't do anything right because mom and dad are always jumping in there to make sure it goes smoothly.
And isn't that the message that you're sending when you swoop in and try and solve their problems? I don't have the confidence or the faith that you can handle this, honey, so I'm going to take over and fix this for you and tell you what to do and how to do it. No wonder they feel frustrated and
Right.
angry at mom.
Right. So two things that it sounds like we're really focusing on, or you focus on in the work with your clients, is one, communication, because the
Hmm.
communication really needs to be clear, and
Yes,
oftentimes we don't do that. And two, being able to set boundaries.
absolutely. With yourself and with your adult child, and teach them how to set their own boundaries, hopefully, when they're younger. Um, I think that the whole communication thing is highly underrated. I mean, obviously, we're communicating right now, but there's certain tools. There's more advanced communication, which I deal with in my online program, to be able to learn why you would want to communicate in a direct versus indirect way. A lot of people are afraid to offend, and they won't ask for what they want or what they need. And I'm talking about parents mostly now, thinking that, oh, if they come over, I'll ask them when they get here if they'll mow the lawn. It's like, well, nobody likes to be set up. People appreciate the respect for their time and the honesty that goes into, honey, could you come over on Sunday and mow my lawn? I've sprained my ankle, or whatever their circumstance is that you need help with. And so this whole being direct and polite and respectful is an elemental part of dealing with anybody that you want a good relationship with.
Here's the
We
other
mustn't
thing.
assume that we can just
Right.
tell our kids what to do.
Here's the other thing that I found that people are incredibly afraid of is they're afraid of confrontation. And if
Yes.
I say to them, look in the dictionary, to confront really just means to face head on. We as a culture have put that negative connotation on it, but it really means, hey, let's just put it out there and have a conversation about it. So I love being able to say it's a confrontation, meaning we're just being straight with each other and talking through the issue. And I
I
think
love it. I
that's a
love it.
change in mindset from I'm going into this conversation primed for an argument versus, hey, I'm just going to be real and genuine here and let's kind of work it out between the two of us. That's confronting something. That's facing something, correct?
Absolutely, Laura. I love the idea of, let's just have this conversation, and we're going to agree that we're going to take it slowly, because sometimes if we talk too fast, we can say stuff that triggers somebody else or vice versa. And so most people don't know how to have a difficult conversation and keep the relationship, which goes back to, you want every conversation that you have with your adult child to be from the place of preserve the relationship. Now, preserve the relationship doesn't mean you kowtow to everything that they're saying, and you just let them have their way on everything. That's not what it means. It means to state how you feel in a respectful, calm manner, because no good ever came out of having a breakdown, a freak out, or whatever you want to call it. No good ever came from that. And if it escalates on the other side, and now we're sliding into talking about boundaries, you need to be able to say, honey, wait, please. I can't hear you when you're swearing or yelling at me. All I hear is the swearing and the yelling. I want to hear what you have to say about this. Can we just say it calmly? And I'm here. I'm here to listen. So there's ways of recovery that might require some practice or some mindset switch about, well, how do I do this? And it really is about standing in your own power. I tell my clients, by the time you're done this program, you're going to know how to get into the place of feeling calm confidence and safe strength. Isn't that an awesome
I love
stance?
that. I love
You
that.
know, like,
I'm also thinking, you know, parents who are obviously anxious, the same kind of helicopter parents who are then anxious about estrangement may push, push, push. And listen, you know, kids are pretty savvy. So some kids may know how they can manipulate mom or dad's anxiety to get what they want. And that's where the boundary also comes in is I know like, you know, we're having some difficulty in our relationship right now. I love you and I'm still not giving you any more money.
yes,
Right?
yes, because you're respecting your own feelings about that money. It is your money to decide how you will spend, regardless. But I got to tell you, also be careful when your child is estranged from you. You don't want to give gifts of money so they can buy a new house. I have a client like that, and I got to tell you, it didn't work for her. She gave her son $50,000 to buy a house after a divorce, and I don't know if she actually thought it through about how this message of this money would land, but I can tell you that there's a sense of entitlement in that as well, on the behalf of the child accepting the money. It's like, well, she's offering, I'm taking, and I don't owe her anything. She's not going to buy me. And
Mm-hmm.
so there's some rules that are helpful to understand that when you're in relationship with someone and there's a give and take, then it's fine to offer whatever you feel that you can in terms of financial or other type of support. But you got to be careful when you think about how this gift will land and what it actually means.
Right. And you can't buy love in any one of a number of things. So I've seen parents who have done this where they've tried to repair a relationship by, well, let me, you know, give them everything that they want. Maybe they'll really see that I care. And that's actually probably feeding into some of the toxic patterns going on between the two of you.
Sometimes there's even comparison between moms and daughters. I've noticed that. Like there's a competition that the daughter feels with the mother. It's like, oh, you have a successful career. I don't care. It means nothing to me. It's not important. You think you're so big or whatever. And it really is about the mom needs to recognize that the child is feeling threatened by their success and comparing, you know, day one career to day 14, 20 years career. And it's bound to have a gap. And it's okay for the child to feel that way. Obviously, it's okay. Any feeling is okay. But if the mom can see it as something that the child is begging for from the mom is reassurance and honey, you're just at the beginning of your career and things are going to go well. Things are going to, you know, you're going to learn some things. You're going to get to the place that you want to be, but you can't start off from where you're at, maybe just finishing university and expecting that you're going to go from 0 to 60
Right.
without putting in the time.
Right, right. Well, that's this generation's need for immediate gratification as well.
Yeah.
So, in terms
Yeah.
of your own influences, what podcasts do you listen to? What books have you read? What things do you do that heavily influence the work that you're doing right now?
Well, that's a great question. I love Let Them by Mel Robbins, and I have started asking my clients to read that book. I think it's really key to not obsessing and feeling bad. Like we don't want to wallow in our feelings of rejection and abandonment and all these things that we put labels on what our child has done to us. We want to move past it and even look at it, turn it around to look at if you're in an estranged, if you're estranged from your adult child, you may want to look at it as being, okay, let them do what they need to do until they're ready for an adult relationship with me, and, check in with them, sure, over time, but let them do what they need to do and see it as a gift that you're giving your child to be able to figure out what they want from their life and to come back around to seeing that mom is not a threat. Mom can be the biggest source of your support and love that you need, because she loves you unconditionally. I like to call the adult child of my clients your beloved adult child. I mean, that's an old word, but it's so beautiful. It's like, it's a heart-centered word,
Sure.
beloved.
Sure.
Yeah.
Wendy, that's
You,
amazing, just amazing. And that you've kind of focused your career on working with this population. And I'm sure there are way more people who are estranged from their adult children who will admit to it, because I think there's a lot of
yes.
shame associated with it
Yes.
also. Because we see on
Yes.
Instagram all these happy families and
Yep.
everybody looks so great. So tell people where they can find out more about your work, the things that you do, how you help people repair relationships if someone is interested.
Great. Well, I have a website. It's called Fulfilling Relationship and .com. And on that website, it's not a very big one, but there is a link to go and watch a masterclass to learn more about the causes of estrangement and what you can do to repair your relationship. I do have a report called 21 Ways to Reconnect with Your Adult Child.
Love that.
I love that because it's dealing with estrangement at all stages to be able to help you to come together with your adult child. And I would encourage you to reach out. I would love to have a chat with anyone who's feeling that, because I'm doing this because I love it, because I love to help moms.
And the passion totally comes through. So Wendy, thank you so much for being our guest today. And thank you guys for watching another episode of From Mayhem to Mindset with Dr. Laura. It's all about the mindset, guys. Take care. Thanks for joining us on From Mayhem to Mindset. If you found today's episode helpful, be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and leave a 5-star review. It really helps spread the message. Want to dive deeper? Check out my book, Wisdom from the Universe, available now on Amazon. And if you're looking for a speaker to inspire and transform, I'd love to connect. Visit www.lauraellick.com to learn more. Remember, you don't have to just survive, you can thrive. See you next time.